expectations will rise, and that takes me to Mahroof. When expectations rise, it is extremely likely, Mahroof, that India could be pushed gently or otherwise by the new Obama administration to take on China internationally, strategically. For example, in the South China Sea. So how should we respond to it? It seems that inevitability
much as China continues to claim that it wants to have peaceful and good relations with all its neighbors, the evidence on the ground doesn't suggest that vis-a-vis India. They've been rather reluctant to move forward on border arrangements with India. They've been rather reluctant to let go of Pakistan, their all-weather friend. And in fact, it is said Pakistan's nuclear program is essentially China's nuclear program in Pakistan. And Pakistan continues to be China's prop-up against India to keep India preoccupied militarily so that China can grow on and create its presence in Tibet unhindered. Now, having said that, there are 2-3 other issues. One is that those countries that have growing trade arrangements with China, and India's trading partnership with China is now one of India's largest, also continue to be more and more insecure of China, whether it's the United States, Southeast Asia, or India, or other countries.
Yes.
So therefore, China is a dilemma. Now, but having said that, my understanding is that the Chinese government saw Obama a better devil to deal with than Romney, because the worrying thing about Romney was that he didn't understand foreign policy issues generally, but more importantly, what China didn't understand about him is what they did not know about him, and there was not much known about him. Whereas as far as Obama is concerned, he's made it very clear that he is going to have a strategic pivot in Asia against Chinese muscle flexing in Southeast Asia, where many countries have maritime disputes with China. India also wants a stake in the oil in South China Sea. China has a problem with that. So I think India and China are going to continue to have strategic geopolitical rivalry, but it won't go beyond that. And if America expects India to become a stepstone for America into China like Pakistan was, sorry, I don't think public opinion in India will allow that.
I'm just going to take a very short 2-minute break, and when I come back, I have a bigger question which I'm going to put to Chidanand Rajghatta. The question is, a growing belief exists in India that Islamabad is today petrified with Obama coming back. It's going to gravitate towards China. America is wanting to come closer to India. Are we going to see a new polarization happening in the subcontinent or not? That question, Chidanand, is being put to you. Chidanand, my question to you is, if a more demanding Barack Obama demands greater accountability from Pakistan, which responds by blackmailing it, by closing down strategic routes, and Pakistan moves closer in the direction of China, which is a likely scenario some people are seeing over the next few months, what impact will it have on India?
Of course, it will have an impact, but the question is China ready to have Pakistan move closer to it? We make that assumption. It's not necessarily correct or true. The fact is, Pakistan had reasons to fear, whether it's Obama or Romney, Pakistan had reasons to fear them both. I mean, this is a country which is now afraid of its own shadow. They're in trouble, and they will do everything to extricate themselves out of it. And they have a long history of, diplomatic and political blackmail, like you said. But it's not going to work. Once the United States is out of Afghanistan, gets a substantial number of its troops out of Afghanistan, Pakistan has very little cards to play with. So I only see difficult days ahead. They will, of course, try. Every time Pakistan is in trouble, you find Zardari rushing off to Beijing or Riyadh or Qatar or someplace. But they're just running out of options, running out of cards. That is a country that has to introspect very deeply. And their biggest ally in the region right now is actually India. They are orphans everywhere, unwanted.
Well put. That's very interesting.
Going to have a tough 4 years.
Interesting you say that, because we had a lot of aggression from our guests from Pakistan on the earlier segment, where they would really said this time that if Obama acts tough, we're going to close down the routes, we'll make it tough, we will tell America, take it or leave it. That was the approach that came from the Pakistani guests. Chidanand disagrees. Do you agree with this point of view, Raymond? What do you think?
Nothing has stopped the drone attacks.
Nothing has stopped the drone attacks. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think I think first of all, you can't look at Pakistan as a unitary actor. It's pretty plain that Pakistan is divided in a number of different ways. And I think what you'll see is greater encouragement in Pakistan of those forces which believe in the rule of law, believe in peace, believe in progress. I think that this rattling, oh, well, we'll do this and we'll do that, is only one faction in regard to the Pakistan situation. And in fact, as you've just said, Pakistan and India seem to be coming together in some ways, and chiefly through trade. And I think that that's an area in which the Obama administration will be willing to move forward together to be able to do that. Now, I don't see the president saying, no, there won't be any more drone attacks. I think that what he is saying, though, is that, look, things are going to come to an end in Afghanistan in terms of the present war posture. The war in Iraq was ended. The role of India is very much respected, particularly in terms of development and progress in Afghanistan. So I see the Indians and the U.S. coming together on that, and I think Pakistan is going to have to take note of it.
Very interesting. Andrew, my last question to you is, are you in agreement with our guests in Washington? And will China risk a relationship with Obama? Will the new Chinese leadership risk a relationship with Obama and even with India by coming to the aid of an embattled Pakistan?
Well, I think for China, it's rather than looking at the question bilaterally, it would be more instructive to look at it geopolitically involving all the countries. As far as China is concerned, there is no doubt that America's pivot to Asia, together with the on trade, for example, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, excluding China, even though China is right at the center of the region's trade, and also this pivot is expressively directed towards balancing the Asia-Pacific situation against China. So if you look at the whole situation also in terms of America, Japan, and India, the so-called triangle of democracy is really trying to contain a non-democratic China. So China's now hand is being forced, for example, in the South China Sea, in a way that this is playing into China's own hands. And you look at what China is now achieving militarily and also geopolitically. China would not have been able to do this if not for this Asian pivot. But then as far as trade is concerned, China's right at the center of the entire region. So I think that we are seeing a reconfiguration of all the forces being at play in this new theater. Well, a rivalry of geopolitical forces between America and China and, of course, India.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your perspective. It's now clearly emerging that it's a win-win situation for India, whichever way you look at it. It's time to consolidate on the gains. Thank you very much, Raymond, Chidanand, for coming early this morning, Mahroof for staying on with us, and Andrew K P Leung for coming in from Hong Kong.